The story of the Sealand Skull is quite a recent one. The skull was only discovered in 2007 in the small town of Ølstykke on the Danish island of Sealand. The man who discovered it was a contractor who was hired to replace aging sewer pipes on the property. The initial discovery was taken with a pinch of salt and somehow considered to be the skull of a horse. A former owner of the property was actually a horse butcher, and equine bones were known to have been buried in the rear garden. It was only when the skull was cleaned off when it was fully discovered what a find it had the potential to be. Coverage of the find was minimal at first, just a few lines in the local press. Regardless of the actual origins of the skull, for little notice to be taken of it can be a mystery in itself. The first serious study conducted was only attempted in 2010. Scientists at the College of the Veterinarian Medicine took a closer look at the skull and eventually determined that they could not solve the mystery of the skull to theirs or anyone's satisfaction. They couldn't even decide what species the skull belonged to. They did arrive at one definite conclusion: while resembling a mammal, it could not fit into the Linnean taxonomy because of certain characteristics. Unable to make any additional headway, the skull was forwarded to the Niels Bohr Institute in Copenhagen. Like their veterinarian counterparts, scientists here were unable to provide details surrounding the skull, but did make one crucial discovery. Carbon dating tests did reveal that the skull was almost 1,000 years old. Estimates that the being had lived between 1200 and 1280. That alone ought to rule out any potential hoax as a possibility in regards to authenticity. Further excavations of the site revealed no additional finds, which does raise an interesting question. Where is the remainder of the skeleton? Maybe a clue can be found in the discovery of the skull itself. According to rumors, it was actually found above the pipes. Maybe whoever left the skull did so within the last decade or two. Perhaps the skull, along with the yet undiscovered skeleton, were stored in places as diverse as Paris, Munich, and the Balkans. Some insist that was where the skull originally came from. Local residents from generations ago mention a Neolithic clan calling themselves L'Ordre Lux P. Pegasus, or the Order of Pegasus Light. These people were said to have been guardians of several items of significance, including a mysterious cranium. Not much is known about this order, but it was known to have been founded in 1350, and rumored members included notable names such as Shakespeare, H.G. Wells, and Thomas Jefferson. Comparing the Sealand Skull to an average human skull, several differences immediately leap out. Aside from being substantially larger, the Sealand Skull has larger eye sockets, which are deeper set and have a more rounded orbital shape to them. As further studies into the skull are made, a growing number is more convinced than ever that this is actually the skull of an extraterrestrial biological entity that passed away a millennia ago and, for whatever reason, was left here. Was it a scout or colonist from some far-off planet, perhaps located inside the Pegasus constellation? Could it have been an unknown human species that has eluded all of science for all of history? If the remainder of the skeleton can be located, it could answer many questions, or ask many more. If you guys enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, please consider subscribing to us and hitting the like button. Feel free to leave a comment below and suggest which theory you would like to see next. If you would like to further support this channel, please consider heading to our Patreon found in the description box below and subscribing there. We appreciate your support, and as always, thanks for watching.